Hello, Mario! In this video we're going to look at making the drawing template as explained in the previous video. So first up, we're actually going to load up AutoCAD. Now it's important that you load up the right or correct version of AutoCAD. You will find on your computer desktops that there are many versions of AutoCAD. But the one that you want is this one here, that is AutoCAD English. So this is just your basic AutoCAD. And I've got AutoCAD 2016. You may or may not have that. So here it is, AutoCAD loading up, and it can take quite a while for it to load up. But you'll notice here I've got Autodesk AutoCAD 2016 and it's loading. Here I have it loading on my laptop at home. However, you may be able to load up from the computer suite. Be aware that as students of a recognized institution, you are able to download your own versions of AutoCAD, student versions, to your own devices, either Windows or Mac, or a desktop or something at home. This enables you to have 24/7 access to AutoCAD. It is pretty much a full version. It does take a little bit of time to download and some expertise. There are also some particular requirements for various PCs with regards to hardware and capacity and things like that. So it's important that you sort those out. If you are having a little bit of trouble with them, I suggest that you maybe talk to your tutor or to the IT department. But it is possible for all students to get the appropriate version of AutoCAD on their laptops or desktops. So here it is, it's opened up here now, and I'm just going to close that. I'm not too interested in that. And I'm going to start a drawing. So I'm just going to go start drawing there, and it should all fire up there like that. AutoCAD 2016. There it is. And what I want to create, of course, is a template file. Now, I have got the dimensions of the template file here, and these will be available to you, and you can see it here. However, this is not a lot of use to you like that, because you don't want to be flicking between the template and AutoCAD. But let's just have a little look at the template to start with. And first of all, one should note that this is an A2 template. Now, a particular way to note that, of course, is to look down over here, and this is just using PDF here, scale at A2. So this is an A2 template. And I'm just going to push Control 0, which will give me full scale back again. And you can see that I have got various dimensions around the plan that will enable you to draw your own template, which is what we want to do. Now the main dimensions, just to get us started, you'll see that we're coming 30, and these are all in millimeters. When we work in paper space in AutoCAD, it's always in millimeters, pretty much. So I'm going to come in here. That's 30 millimeters. That's to allow a little bit for binding or stapling. Then you'll see that we've got 15 millimeters around the top here, 15 millimeters down this side, and 15 there. So that's going to give us pretty much the exterior. But what we want to do is to have this side by side in our drawing in some respects. So I'm going to just click on here, which will reduce that down to a small scale like that. And maybe I'm just going to have that over here just so that it takes up, and this can be a little bit tricky, half my screen. Now I'm just going to click on the AutoCAD there, and I'm going to do the same there. Just, perhaps I'm going to do that like that, and just reduce that down to half. And there you can see, particularly with the big screens that we have in the computer suite, that you can have half and half. You can have the two plans on the one screen. I should also note that I have a dual screen, so in some cases I can move this, and this is what I'm doing now, which you won't be able to see, moving it over onto my second screen. But at this stage here, I'm just going to leave that there. And at this point here, I've pointed out to you that that's, we've got an A2, that's 30 and 15 all the way around. So I'm just going to drop that out of there and bring that up into here to full scale. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my start in a layout. Now, if you go down to the bottom left here, you'll see there's a layout there, and that's my layout. I don't usually like to work with the grid, and in fact what we have here is a viewport, and I'm just going to delete that. So click on that viewport there and just delete that out of the way. I'm just going to work in paper space, and you can see around here this dotted line. Now this dotted line is the printed area, or the area that will print. Anything outside of that dotted line will not print. However, this particular dotted line is dependent on the particular printer. But before we do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to this layout, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to rename it. And I'm just going to call it A2 landscape, because I want it to be in the A2 landscape. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Another thing I like to do very early on in the picture is to save my files, so that I don't do a whole lot of work and then get lost. So I'm just going to go up to here, and I'm just going to go save as, and I'm going to save this file here. I'm going to save it locally on this computer here in my data E there. I'll create a new folder that I'm going to call a new folder, sorry, I'll just right click in here in data E, right click, sorry, new folder, and I'll call that cost effective CRIBS, and I'm just going to save this, and at this stage here I'm just going to save it as a DWG file because it's not quite complete yet. So I'm going to call this my A2 template. Perhaps I could call it CEC for cost effective CRIBS A2 template, and I'm going to save it. So I've saved it there to my, as a file there. And I notice now that my video is coming up to 10 minutes. I don't usually like to go longer than 10 minutes, but I haven't got very far with this one. So I'm just going to go for another perhaps 5 minutes just to get a little bit of drawing done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the template here, or the layout, right click there, and go Page Setup Manager. And the Page Setup Manager is for our A2 landscape, which you'll see there. And I'm just going to modify that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose I'm going to choose the Adobe PDF printer. That's my go-to printer, and I'm going to choose my paper size here, which is going to be A2. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to leave all that at 1:1 and that sort of thing, and landscape, and I'm going to go OK, and I'm going to close. Now straight away you'll see that that dotted line has gone right to the outside, and this is one of the reasons why I use the PDF printer, is because it gives you a maximum amount of space to work with. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, go up to here. Now you should be in the home button here. Before we go too much further, I'm going to we have what we call the command line down here, and there are various ways we can do this, but the quickest way that I know to do this is to just go down here, and I'm going to type in there units, UNITS, and I just want to check this first, units, because this is very important, and this determines the units that we're going to use for our drawing. So we're going to be, for our length, we're going to be working in decimals. We're going to be working in millimeters, so we can leave the precision at that for now. Just make sure that's millimeters. For your degrees, I like to work in degrees, minutes and seconds, and I like to work to this precision here. That's what I'm used to working. I like my bearings to go clockwise, and I like my direction to be north. I'm a surveyor, that's what I'm used to working in, and that's how I set it up. For my precision, I'll leave that like that for now. I can always come back and change it. So I've just set up the units there. That's just a little important thing, so you can type that down in there. There is another way, I think, of getting to the units, thing like that, to change them around, and you'll discover all these different ways as you work your way through the thing. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to here to the rectangle tool. So you can see that if you just go up there, there's the rectangle tool there. It'll create a rectangle. So I'm going to the rectangle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in as close as I possibly can to this corner here, and I'm going to make a mark there, and I'm just dragging it down. I'm just pushing my little wheel in the middle of the mouse just to get it. You can see the little hand come, and then I'm going to go down to this other corner, and I'm going to zoom in there as quickly as much as I can, and there you are. I've created a little rectangle. Okay, so there's the rectangle there, and you can see. Now, you can see over here what we call the properties, and you can see that we've drawn what we call a polyline, and in here it's in layer 0 at this stage here. So I'm just going to leave that in at layer 0 just for now, or perhaps come to layering later on. So I've drawn my little rectangle there, which is actually the extents of the paper. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create the outside of my drawing template. But first, before I do that, I'm going to click on my polyline, and I'm going to type explode, E-X-P-L-O-D-E, explode. And what that does now is it's converted each of those little lines there into a single line, like this, like so. Okay? Created them into a single line. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go O for offset. There are other ways of doing it. There is you can use the GUI, or you can use offset here. There's the little offset command there. But typically the way I do it is just go O for offset, and I'm going to, you can see down here in the thing it says specify an offset distance. So I'm going to specify 15 as my offset distance, And so I'm just going to click on that line and that line, that line and that line, that line and that line. And there you can see they're coming around like that. I'm just going to push escape, or I can just push the space bar and that gets me back to again. And now I'm going to do another offset, enter, and I'm just going to put a new, see the old distance is still down here at 15. I want to change to 30, enter, and then I'll just click on this little line here. Alright, so there you are, I've got it there, but I've got some bits I don't want. Now there's a nice cute little tricky way of doing this. So we just stop that command running, make sure we get back to our full crosshair here, and then we type TR and go enter, enter. So TR with a double tap, enter, enter, and I just go click on that one there, click on that one there. Okay, and you can see now that that's just deleting those little bits there. It only deletes between the lines, so sometimes we have to use a different workflow. And what we can see here is now, I'm just going to take that out there, and I don't need these lines out here any longer, that one, that one. So I'm just going to be selecting those as just I've individually selected them, so just click and select and they go to the blue, and then go to the delete button and just push delete, and that'll take those out of there. And there you can see that we've created the outside of the template. So what I'm going to do now is just go File, Save As, and just check that I'm going to save that drawing. So save. And do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. Okay, and that's going to be me. That's a bit of a long video, but I think we needed to keep it that long just to achieve what we got there. So there you go, 17 minutes, and you've drawn a rectangle. Well done.